Hey guys, welcome to Finally Clicked, the podcast where we discuss business, leadership, and personal development. My name is Margaret Smith, and I'm the Director of Operations for Pickett Street Properties, a real estate team out of Bothell, Washington. And I'll be here every week with our owner and team leader, Jesse D. Moore. We'll be digging into concepts and ideas that have helped us both personally and professionally. And you'll also get a chance to hear from local and national experts that we know provide massive value to get to the point where it all finally clicks.
Welcome to the end of the world, everybody. I'm Jesse D. Moore. I'll be your tour guide today, along with my co-pilot, Margaret McCulley Smith.
I never thought I would be in this position, and I'm happy to be here as your co-pilot.
This could be the last podcast from the studio.
From the studio,
the studio for a while. Grab your whiskey.
Okay. Oh, I like these cups.
Jameson Black Barrel, you served us well. I want to acknowledge this fallen soldier. We poured whatever whiskey we had left into our glasses.
We did.
Took a photograph so you guys could see. This podcast is going to last as long as the whiskey does, okay? I'm not going to...
Oh, good call.
All
I
right?
like that. Yeah.
It might be short, might be long.
Okay.
You know what?
Depends on
When
how
we're out
fast
of
we
whiskey,
drink.
we're out of this podcast.
Well, we know how fast I drink, so it's pretty quick usually.
Right.
Right down the piper.
The piper. It's so funny.
It's been delicious.
We listened back to our last podcast in a cringy way.
That was just last Wednesday.
It was just today is Wednesday.
It was the 11th.
Is today?
March.
No, today's Thursday.
Today's Thursday the 19th.
Okay, so
8 days later.
8 days ago.
8 days.
We did a podcast. And it was relevant. It was timely and relevant.
All of the things.
It feels like it was 5 years ago.
Feels forever in a day. Feels forever.
It's like we did a podcast on like President Trump's inauguration, and now it's now. That's how long it feels.
8 days later feels like 6 months.
More. He's been in office for like 3 years.
I wasn't thinking about that. I'm just thinking about how long
it's been
feels.
like 3 years. That's how long this feels. This
Holy
8
God.
days is
Literally everything we've said in that podcast has changed.
everything. You're like, we are having the Pacific Northwest admin
This is
retreat.
happening.
It is happening,
It's
people.
happening. 2 days later, not happening.
It's so funny to listen to podcasts, or you can tell which ones are pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah.
like, I listen to a lot of comedians' podcasts.
Yeah.
And they're like announcing tour dates. And I'm like, oh, honey,
They're behind.
you don't get it.
Yeah, yeah. That is what I like about how we do this is we operate in the moment. So you're getting it real, folks, here. Even though last week I didn't publish it until Saturday, so even 3 days later, it was not totally current.
All right.
It's been
So
quite the week.
sometimes I'm going to be vulnerable and honest, and I try not to let people inside my own head because it's scary and dark.
Well, and I think we can ask our listeners to have some grace for us, considering that we're in Washington State, and like you said, feel like we're in a freaking
so
snow globe.
let me share this analogy, because I was talking to a friend of mine today who we all respect, and she had a referral from me, which I was grateful for.
That's nice.
And I just said, hey, Jennifer, can I ask you a quick question? Because you talk to people all over the United States frequently. But I go, it feels like we're in a snow globe in Washington State, and everybody's looking at us and pointing and laughing and being like in Miami, it's spring
Still
break.
on the beach.
And they've closed, quote unquote, closed the beaches, but there's millions of people there.
Yep. I just talked to someone down there, and she was like, how's it going up there? And I'm like, well, this is what's happening. Restaurants are closed. Bars are closed. There's a rumor going around of a lockdown. And she's like, really? That sounds bad. I said, yeah. I know. Don't watch the news, but watch enough to keep in the loop, because the rest of the country is slowly shutting down.
Yeah, we went in 8 days. We've gone from like a semi-normal life. It was weird. It was bizarre. It was odd. To this is next level oddness.
Next level weirdness. Yeah.
And I do get a lot of, it's been nice to hear from people from outside of the state of Washington.
I agree. Yeah.
But you guys have no fucking idea what you're in for. And I'm sorry.
That's just the
I
truth
feel
of it.
like I listen, I was telling Jennifer, I was like, hey, you know what? I listen to these coaches, and I listen to these agents that are mega agents in other parts of the country, and I hear their rallying cry. I hear their words of wisdom, how to deal with this. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You don't know. You don't get it. You
won't get it till you see it.
You aren't there yet.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not going to talk yourself out of this. I don't even feel like this is a mindset thing anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like it's going to be a mindset thing throughout the whole part of it. It's not just saying, like, have a positive mindset and we'll think our way out of it. You're going to have to figure out how to get a mindset in this if you don't already have one, to maintain yourself.
I mean,
this is it's next level, like you said.
I on a regular day, I seesaw between negative and positive all day long. And I just hope to have more positive thoughts than negative thoughts. And this is super crazy. And I just don't know if everyone outside of Washington State understands what this is like.
No, I don't think so, yeah.
And I want to be fair because I don't want to be like, oh, we have it hard.
Oh, no, for sure.
But when I look at news reports, people are not acting the same way.
No, it's pretty hard, I think, to translate the level that we're at without someone actually being here. We don't want to fear monger. We don't want to freak people out. And so, but at the same time, a couple of my friends have said, like, quarantine means quarantine. So, like, even you and I being here at the office, that's not, like, we don't take this lightly. I'm not coming in contact with anybody else. I went to deliver some potato soup to my parents the other night, and I stayed outside the house.
Right.
I'm like, that's my
mom.
We
didn't touch today. I didn't hug you or shake your hand or give you a high five.
We're doing the 6-foot social distancing thing, and I think you're right. I think unfortunately, my hope was with this and with other people that are talking about it, that we can help other parts of the country do this quicker, faster. So.
If you wanted to hear an inspirational podcast about how to work through COVID-19, keep looking. I don't know what to tell you. This is way, way bigger and badder than we were prepared for. And I think it's bigger and badder than anyone's prepared for.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I have a couple friends that are alarmists, and it's worse than they thought it was going to be. You know
really?
what I mean? Like,
oh, great. That's comforting.
Yeah,
like, end of the world preppers, they're like freaking out too?
But it's just like, it was cringy to listen to the last episode. And I don't think we got a lot wrong as far as facts or
the
data.
Truth is, we were being ourselves in the moment. And in the moment at that time, and on Wednesday, the retreat was still going to happen. It was the next 48 hours that made everything.
And literally from that point, everything's
been
descended.
Just cascaded. Yeah.
So Next Level Agents postponed their gathering.
Oh, they did officially? Okay.
I think they did, didn't they?
I hadn't seen that yet, but
they did yesterday. I think.
Okay.
Maybe sooner.
Cheers
to the end of the world, as we know it. I should say. Now, I will say this: I think I don't look at bad situations and wish I wasn't in them. Yeah, I don't really do that.
Well, I think you're very realistic in knowing that bad things are going to happen at different points of our life, and you've just experienced an inordinate amount.
Well, and I learned from it, and things change.
And you and I have
get better.
You and I have been through multiple times in the business. I'm grateful for that experience. This one, I'm really curious to see what the outcome is. Because each time you and I come through another bump or a hump in the business world like this, where we're cascading down and we're not really sure where the bottom is and when we're going to start to go up. I can't, and again, I've been talking to a couple people about this. I can't help but I feel a lot of peace. Like I feel like, I don't know if that's the ever optimistic person in me, but I feel a lot of peace with you and with the business. Like we're going to figure it out. It's going to happen.
You know what I find peace in? So I woke up today to bad news. I woke up. Yeah. I literally checked my phone while I was laying in bed.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I got a rescission. That's a good
idea. Yeah.
On a transaction.
That was supposed to close in
April. It kills 2 transactions.
Yeah.
You want me to figure out real quick? I mean, it's like
the GCI.
Yeah. Let me just figure.
Sure. Yeah. Do it. Yeah. I've been. I'm talking, I have an online class tomorrow that I offered to teach like over a month ago. So I was like, oh, this is perfect timing. It's on social media and what's your secret sauce? And so I'm going to address inundating yourself with information right now because there are several people, several humans I know that are just overwhelmed with the amount of data intake from social media and from the news and from people. They don't know when to stop it. How do they know when to screen it out? What does our GCI look like?
So we've lost $40,000 in GCI. in the last week.
God, when you put it like that.
And that's conservative.
Yeah.
I'm being conservative.
Yeah, and when our monthly budget is what it is. Yeah.
So we've lost $40,000 since our last podcast in commissions that were in escrow.
In 8 days.
And in large part due to Corona, COVID-19.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm just going to tell you, we can't afford to lose that.
Well, we really literally can't.
And we can't afford it because, like any business, we have seasons and cycles, and we went through the winter months. And
you're carrying, like as a business, we're carrying more salaried staff than we normally do, than most business owners would have.
And I'm carrying it because I know that in the spring it's going to get busy, and I want to be ready for it.
And here we are in the spring.
And we're locked in our houses. So we put a listing. I'll tell you, it's dodgy. I put a listing on today.
Yeah.
As defiantly, as if to say,
damn it, COVID-19.
As if to
we're
say,
listing.
bring it, like Sparta. Like we are. I stood in front of the listing and said, "We are Sparta." That's how I felt today. I'm in defiance, as if to say, "Corona, bring me your worst." You might force us to stay in our homes for 30 days.
We're still gonna sell a home.
Putting this listing on the market, and I don't know. Literally, there are rumors that our governor could put us on lockdown in the next 72 hours, meaning we can't leave our house.
Are we sure that's the definition? Can we still leave to go to the grocery store?
It's our early talk was that he was going to lock down the state borders, meaning no travel to and from.
Okay,
that would be one thing, and I would be somewhat okay with that. Like that's palatable to me. Being trapped inside of my house or on my property is not palatable.
No, I'm really concerned actually for you and for other people.
Oh, and other people. I will come out of this alone. Probably. No. Oh my gosh. I'm already doing stuff.
We haven't even talked about the fact, like, the effect that this is having on the dating apps, by the way. All of the men are suddenly very available.
Oh,
They're
They're like, please, what's it? I just want to be my queen.
Someone just texted me. I'll just tell you this. He said, we should just lock down together to look at the MLS. Like, we should. I'm like, oh my God, no. I'm not going to quarantine myself with someone I don't know for the next 30 days. But guys are getting, it's getting desperate times out there.
Can you just imagine, like, how we met during COVID-19. we met during the lockdown of 2020.
Oh, God.
We Netflixed and chilled our way through.
For 30 days.
It's going to be longer.
Oh, God.
And that's what I want everyone to understand, what we're looking at. I hope all the things that we're doing will make a difference, and that President Trump can buy that company that makes the vaccine. I'm just kidding. That's a joke, everyone. For those that don't know, President Trump tried to buy a company that was working on a vaccine for his own profit.
I hadn't heard that yet.
Anyway, the hope is that if we delay the spread, there will be a cure or a vaccine, some preventative medical intervention. And I am hopeful for that too. But there's a long side to this that says it could take 18 months.
Your 18-month thing again?
I know. My 18-month, it's a secret to the universe.
You should probably patent that.
Yeah. That's my new business.
Well,
right now we're segueing out of real estate and into
I have to tell you, I did hear from someone in the medical profession that none of this, even if the main group of people who have it are healed and it's going to carry on for about a year. There's going to be waves of it for about a year is what they're thinking.
And there's an element of this that I get. I was talking to Jill about this the other night, and I may have been in a cannabis-inspired conversation, but
that's probably good at this point right now. Keep chill.
It's hard, right? Because this is not a killer in the sense of other diseases. And I'm not taking. Listen, if you are older or younger, or you're immunocompromised, I don't want you to die.
No,
okay, and
that.
I am obeying the rules because I don't want people to die.
Yeah,
and
it's different from.
It shows you the value of human life that we are going to take such great lengths to make sure that we protect our citizens to the point of bankruptcy to for other people. And I think there's some really great things that could come out of this,
For
honestly.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
I was talking to Jennifer again about this whole thing, and what I kind of love.
We should probably have her on in the next episode.
Yeah, I think we should if we can, since we're doing it from Skype.
That's
anyway.
Jennifer Beatles with Agents Invest, for those of you that don't know her.
And you know, she's a world traveler. She travels 6 months a year. I like to travel. You like to travel.
Love it.
And one of the cool thing that's happening due to the COVID-19 is some of these sites, they're seeing some of these tourist sites like beaches and natural wonders. They're seeing rejuvenation like they haven't seen in forever.
Oh, like with Italy and the dolphins coming back?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Venice, right. Or Venice, the water clearing up.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also seeing in beaches where there's traffic all the time, where the environment gets a chance to like rest and relax. And so I'm really actually kind of excited for a change to the pace of life. Now, talk to me next week. That could change, right? I don't want to be sequestered in my home.
No.
But everyone's kind of over this frenetic pace we're on.
Yes.
And we've been on it forever.
Long time.
And we've been on this pace that's like, hey, you got to maximize and hustle and utilize and do this and hustle and do that and post and it's so much.
Yeah.
And now this is forcing us to be like, stay at home, like stay in your corner.
So I have to tell it, like, I'm glad that you brought that up, because there's a spiritual side to this that you'll see kind of different parties and how different people are playing different parts and different voices and what this means in the world. Like, I'm following people on Instagram who are just talking about the economy or just talking about the impact of business. And then there's a group of people that I follow that are absolutely talking about how the world needs this. And I agree with you. There's a part to me that says this is like necessary for us to slow down as humans, to appreciate each other, appreciate our kids, spend time with each other, work through things, let the environment breathe, and kind of help all of us adjust to a different pace and a different kind of life. So I agree with you on that. I don't know. And again, like I'm always going to be optimistic. It's just in me. But I don't think it's illogical. I think because we're being forced to slow down right now. So I kind of like it too. It's kind of like, let's take a breath and pause for a second, because we have no choice but to.
Yeah. No, and I think it is like as a team.
Not that we're not still working, by the way.
So I'm going to shout out to David Breckheimer.
Oh, shout out, yeah.
For sending us a message today. That was awesome.
It was very much needed.
I know it wasn't just to us, right? It was to
It was to other people, but he specifically messaged us, Pickett Street.
It was nice for him to reach out and for him to share his coaching thoughts about mini wins.
Yeah.
And one thing I really liked that he said that I hadn't thought about was, and we kind of did it this afternoon, where I'm like, hey, everyone just get on Zoom and just be there.
Yeah.
And then as we work, people can hop on and talk, or they can...
Yeah, hop on, hop off.
But if we are all working, like, let's just be on there together, and people can hop on,
hop
off.
It's nice to see people's faces.
And that's good for me, because it motivates me to work more and be...
When you're seeing us and you're seeing...
And plus, I'm used to being in an office where I can go, hey, Margaret, what about this? Or Jagels, you know? And I can't do that. It's like...
To the empty air. Yeah.
Right, to the empty air. And so...
No, that's what we're utilizing things that we haven't utilized before. There's a lot of talk on the admin groups on Facebook about what are you doing to engage with your team? What are you doing to engage with clients? Obviously, I wish I'd had stock in Zoom before all this happened, because Zoom stock has gone up. I haven't looked at it recently, but a couple of my friends have been saying, hey, go online and buy stock right now. So Zoom, Marco Polo, Facebook groups, like all the ways to communicate with people is what we're utilizing now. So we've already set a couple appointments that people are using Zoom for. I've done a couple meetups with people in the evenings I did a happy hour last night on Zoom.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, we should do wine tasting? Yeah. Well...
Because it does help to see another human face.
This is about to get... I don't want to... listen, I'm going to be mortified of this conversation next week. Because I'm going to look back and think, oh, it's really changed a lot again. Like, if we literally can't go out and go to the store for whatever we need, that's a problem.
I only have M&Ms for so long. This is the real life. This is single lady life. I don't know how to plan for more than a week at a time. Like, I don't. So I don't know if I have enough for 30 days. I'm assuming they're going to let us go out to go to the grocery store. This is where I assume that they're going to make accommodations because they don't want people to hoard, and people are starting to hoard. That's the kind of panic that I'm not going to be a part of. And so I've gotten the supplies that I need and want for really what we could probably do 3 weeks with the 3 of us we have in the house.
I'm going to have to become a plumber to do
Why?
my washlet idea, my bidet idea.
For sure.
Business idea.
Well, somebody else talked about a bidet on, I tagged you one of the posts online, and I mean, real though, people, toilet paper. Somebody is staying at my house for a couple days because they just don't want to be alone, which I get. She's actually our statistician for the podcast, Andy. And as a payment, she brought a 12-pack of toilet paper, which was great because I was down to 4 rolls. Oh, such a weird podcast. You know, usually I say this is a great episode. It is a great episode, but it also feels really weird.
No, I don't know what to say now. Okay, like my loose humor that was fueled by this fever and anxiety has dissipated.
Yeah.
And now I'm just sad.
Oh.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I also think. We have to go through this. This is like grief. This is like
True.
any process. You're not going to bounce back. You're not just going to wake up and be like, it's all about attitude.
Done. Yeah, all good.
Because it's not, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already making tough decisions.
Mm-hmm. We have to for the business, yeah. And with there's a lot of talk with restaurant owners in the area and doing like takeout Tuesdays to support the local businesses.
Can I tell you my favorite thing?
Please.
In Portland. Have you heard what they're doing in Portland?
No.
Have I told you?
Mm-mm.
All right. And this is a weird thing for me to know. Don't worry about how I know.
Okay.
But
don't worry about
Portland
how I know.
has the highest ratio of strip clubs per capita in the United States.
Okay,
They have
but
more
not-
strip clubs per capita in the
Okay.
United States than anywhere else.
Okay.
So Portland, in Portland, the strip clubs are also restaurants. Like they have food.
Okay.
And they are shut down. Obviously, that's not a great environment to be in if you're trying to not
Avoid
spread
a
a
virus.
disease,
Yeah,
a virus, a highly contagious virus. So what they're doing is they've closed down the clubs and they are delivering. They're having strippers deliver the food.
Shut up.
So you order the food.
Shut up right
and
now.
then they deliver the food.
Oh my God, this is
For
amazing.
So that's the kind of entrepreneurial spirit I'm looking forward to seeing come out of this.
Oh my God, that's funny.
And it's like, oh, I wish I looked better in pasties because then I could do that. But
We had the other thing that I was thinking that's coming out of this is a whole new sense of community. Like, so I put it out there in my admin mastermind group yesterday and in the PNW retreat, the girls that were supposed to be coming like in the next week for the retreat. And I said, who wants to do lunch over Zoom tomorrow? So we did lunch yesterday and, we went from person to person just to give updates because there was like 25 people on the call. And then it got down to the last 7 or 8 and we started telling funny stories about, because there's a couple of us that are on dating apps. And so it just turned into a bunch of us laughing and it felt so good to like laugh and connect that I think it's kind of, and I'm seeing realtors jump on video like I've been asking them to do for years. And so there's this really interesting twist and people are realizing they've got to get over themselves and they've got to put themselves out there. You cannot, I guess what my message is going to be and what it has been is do not isolate yourself. Like if you need to put all of us on Zoom, if I need to put all of us on Zoom, if I need to reach out to someone and say, hey, happy hour tonight on Zoom, whatever it is, we just can't isolate ourselves because it's not going to help us.
I can see how this. This is how we pivot, right? We get Sarah Trotsky to do prison cell workouts.
Yes.
From Zoom, right? Okay, how to do a workout within the confines of your room, right? Using your existing home appliances. We have Jessica get on and bake bread, and talk through.
Megan can also lead workouts along with Sarah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We'll get some. We'll get Daniel to sing some barbershop quartet.
Oh, for sure.
Just to lift our spirits.
I'll tell jokes.
You'll tell jokes that no one will get. That'll be
No,
amazing.
I'll be like, I'll just say some inspiring shit. I'll just inspire somehow. Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a really interesting pivot, actually. So I don't know if I'm crazy, and maybe I am.
I feel like we moved too fast past the part where you were saying that dating apps are up. So you're saying that dating activity on dating apps is through the roof.
It's raining men. And when I said that last week, I meant that literally. But then with the onslaught of COVID and more people stuck at home, I'm definitely having to decipher. Like, there's this little meme going around that talks about we're going back to old school, guys. Like, you're gonna have to start writing poems and shit. Like, write me a poem and you can mail it to me because I've got 30 days to receive it. And it's getting harder for me to decipher. Like, do you really want to meet me, or do you just need someone to be quarantined with? Like, what's
Well, I'll tell you
the
flip side of this is people are not used to spending this much time with their partner or their kids or anyone else.
Yep.
Jill and I walked around each other like we were like.
It's happening a lot.
Jill and I walked around each other like we just met each other after 90 days of like virtual dating.
Yeah.
90 Days, that program I talk about all the time, where it's weird and awkward and they talk to each other and they're way too intimate on the phone and then they see each other first time and it's super bizarro and weird.
It's really weird.
That's what it was like in my house yesterday. And I love Jill to death. And we've been together 3.5 years.
Yeah.
We live together. We have a blended family together.
This is a whole new world. Yeah.
But I am not supposed to be home during the week, and she makes me well aware of it. And
well, like we talked about too, just in terms of relationships, there's going to be some divorces from this. There's going to be some babies made, probably.
Did I mention it last time? That China, the rates of divorce.
You didn't.
So rates in South Korea, divorce spiked through the roof after the quarantine was over. Like after whatever self-imposed quarantine was over.
Wow.
And so these people that are, it's one thing to stay married if you can go to your favorite bar at night or whatever. I don't know. However you choose to deal with the lack of love in your marriage. But
everybody needs space.
This is going to reveal people in
I think that's the best way to put it.
It is.
Because you can't hide.
You can't hide from this.
You can't hide. You're forced to face it.
Yeah. And
God, fierce conversations has never been more important.
Well, and for me, it's like, okay, like I got to do workouts from home.
Yeah.
I just
I know,
have
me too.
to.
I haven't worked out.
I have to prioritize. I did it yesterday. You know what I did?
What?
I barbecued steaks.
Those looked so fucking good.
Well, it takes like 20 minutes for my barbecue to warm up, right? And then it's 5 minutes for a side for 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I did a 40-minute workout while I cooked.
That's impressive.
I did, all the things. And then I check the steaks and I go back.
Well, and your steaks have like a formula to them. So it's not like you can really easily walk away.
Well, it's better on the Traeger.
Okay.
No, but I just know how to do it.
Were you happy with them?
They were great.
God, they looked so good. You guys, he put them on these little crackers with some cheese.
Oh, it was
and then he sent
amazing.
a Snapchat to us, and I was so pissed. I said, literally, I will go to your window, we'll have one of your kids throw the steak out the window, and I'll just catch it. Like, that's all I need.
Yep.
Yeah.
Might be the last time I have steak. Ever.
I don't think so, but maybe for a little while.
You and I are so funny in comparison. Like, I'm Eeyore to your Tigger.
I know. It's so true. I mean, of course, it's been very evident in the last couple days. And for some reason, it just tickles me. I think it just tickles me because it just proves, like, what we tell people over and over again. We're so opposite. And I actually got that question. I haven't even told you about my class in Minneapolis since I got back. But there were a couple questions in relation to just our partnership, and there always are, but they were more apparent, I guess, in this class, or maybe it was one person who just asked a couple different things. But she had said, are you and Jesse opposite? And if so, how do you counteract that, or what do you do to work with that? And I looked at her and I was like, we're so extremely opposite. Here's our different personality profile assessments that we've taken. And then I said, if you think, like, if I'm white, he's black. Like, it's like the absolute opposite. And I said, it works amazingly because of that. And I said, the reason it works is because we've learned how to meet in the middle. Like, there's no other way to put it. You have to compromise and you have to work. And it just makes me giggle now because, it's playing out. And I think the team sees it, and the team, it's pretty hard in these times we're always honest and we're always transparent, and they know you're worried. It's not hard to hide, and that's okay. Like, we have to be able to step beside you and say, hey, we're here with you.
I have two thoughts in relationship to that.
Okay.
One, it's so funny when people just hire people that they like. Or that are like them.
A huge mistake.
And we can see it from a mile away. And they keep doing it.
Yes.
They'll do it 10 times a year.
David Bruckheimer would tell you the same
10
thing.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like this person. Just gonna
so hilarious to them. Oh, probably they don't even like them. It's like, oh, they really like me. I think I'll hire them.
That's true.
Right?
Typically, yes. They're high eyes. They're very social.
And so there's that. And then, and really, I love it when I say there's I have two things to say.
So two things. One was about hiring people that you like. So opposite partnerships. Like how do we, and then the other, yeah.
And the other one was, like, things are bad enough. Like, I should be laying people off. I should lay everybody off.
Well, technically, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I should lay everyone off, and then I should go to a corner and get down on my
I don't know if I agree with this part.
on my butt and rock back and forth, hug my knees and rock back and forth.
I don't really recommend that.
No, that's what I should do. But then I had the thought, well, do you want to dig out of this alone? Like, do you really want to dig out of this hole by yourself? And I'm like, no, I don't. Mm-hmm. And this is a weird conversation for me because there's no rule book for this.
Oh, no.
And that's what I'm telling you I'm so pissed off about when I hear all these people outside of Washington State with their motivational speeches and their coaching points and how to handle this. And I'm like, okay, is your back against the wall? Mm-hmm. Are you betting like every dollar you have on the people you have and the team you have and their abilities? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't. So, and another point I was thinking of, there's a great opportunity in this pandemic. I don't know what it is yet. But
I was waiting with bated breath.
Well, no, but here's what the opportunity is. Well, there's several different opportunities. Mm-hmm. One, if you are solid and you have reserves and nothing's going to change for you, you should be looking at all the people that are leaving bartending,
absolutely,
that are leaving the food industry. Yes. These are highly talented people that work hard.
Yeah.
And you should be looking at them saying, let me take the best out of these, because they wouldn't leave that place any other time.
Other time. So true. So true.
This time.
It's so funny that you say that, because somebody just became available in Portland, Oregon today. I saw a post about it. It's a bartender who had to leave.
Right. And they hate to leave their jobs. Mm-hmm. They like consistency.
Super social people.
But they're social people. Yeah. They know how to sell.
That's a really good point.
Like, go get those people.
I'm going to write that down for myself to start interviewing, just to have them on our burner.
So there's that. And then the other thing is that I don't know I got to think about how I want to say this.
Okay.
I'll probably say it wrong.
That's fine.
We started off the conversation, no one wants to fail. Well,
no. Who goes into anything saying, God, I hope I just suck at this?
But there is a commonality in our experience in going through this where so many people are going to be affected by it, that there's community in that. Yes. There's community in the fact that so many people are going through this together.
When, like you've said to me the last couple of days, everyone will have to flex. So let's flex together.
Yeah. It's one thing if I'm an idiot and I run our business into the ground, and
thank God you've never been one.
And I take, I would take responsibility for that, but the onus is on me, right? And that's the weight of that can be hard enough, right?
Yeah.
In a situation where the world changes in the matter of a couple weeks,
it's everybody or nothing.
Everyone's in the same boat. Yeah. There's very few people that are exempt from this.
Yeah. Well, I'll give the viewers or the listeners just one example. So today I got a referral check from a friend who, because of our podcast, actually, she's a friend from high school, and I'll just call her out, Anne, give her a shout out. We were not actually super close friends in high school. We were just acquaintances. We ran in different friend groups. Super nice, like always we knew of each other, but because of our podcast, she started listening to us, and we're going to meet for drinks after this is all over now, apparently, because we were going to meet before. But because of the podcast, she reached out to me and said, who do you know that I could use to sell my home in Georgia? So I got her someone, and so I got a referral check today, and it's not much, but I told you, I said, keep it. If this helps us keep salary going for, part of a salary for part of a week, then keep it. Like, there's no point in me. This is not going to help me anymore personally. I'd rather, if we keep the team going, that's what helps me more. So that is literally, I know that's a small piece, but I want listeners to understand, like, that's, I think, what's going to help us get through if we all do our part, if we all contribute, because it's not just on you.
And I want to say, too, there are plenty of people in Washington State that are not talking like we're talking. There are plenty of agents that are selling homes.
Yes.
And that their people are staying in it.
Mm-hmm.
And life is hunky-dory for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, we're definitely preparing earlier than most, which is pretty typical of us. Like I think we stay on top of it.
And maybe we're a little bit unlucky in having 3 transactions die, like for sure. $40,000 in commission go away.
Pre-COVID, we were not in the situation that we loved. Like, we're still working on getting ourselves out of that. And so, yeah.
So.
But I also do know already of some admin that have been cut to either half-time or, in Washington State, there are people that are beginning to have to deal with looking at no money.
So I will say that we are getting in touch with people. I'm reaching out to people. I talked to some of the businesses that I took over, and I talked to them about getting in touch with their people. And so it's just a little weird message, because we're not like it's more of us trying to be a resource to people and just being in communication and talking to them. Because we're not saying, hey, do you want to buy a house right now? Like, because this isn't
checking in on them. Yeah,
you're just checking in and saying, hey, I don't normally have this much time to check in with people, and I want to take advantage of it.
Might as well. And I have to say too, just like as a funny side note, there are still people that want to buy, and depending on what goes on with this lockdown, obviously, if we can't leave, we can't leave. But they'll be ready to buy right after because we're talking to them now. So. There are still buyers out there. They're like, I told one today, I said, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I know you don't know my team very well yet, but this is going to be one of the best times to buy because we have investors that have cash on hand that are ready to buy. And there are buyers that are not leaving their houses because they're afraid to. And I get it. And this is one of the best times to put an offer on a house. So yeah, buy now.
It's hard to know what to say, honestly. I mean, I think everything equalizes. Yeah. So I'm not saying don't buy. I get it. I think rates are low. Competition should be easing up. But yesterday, our neighbor in the office put on a listing, and she had multiple offers, and it was under contract within 24 hours. So, I mean, it's still hot and heavy here. People are still buying homes. It might change when if there's a lockdown.
There's a lockdown, yeah.
That'll change.
Yeah.
And
unless people continue to buy sight unseen.
And I hope we sell our new listing that we put on the market today prior to that happening. But I can't.
I'm glad we listed it.
Yeah, were you supposed to plan for the worst?
No. Yeah.
I mean,
that's what Andy said too. Andy, who's staying with me, their team put on 2 listings, and she's like, yeah, no, we're listing. Just got to get it on there. So.
Yeah, it's just hard when it's something unknown.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I mean, we kind of know what it does, and we know it's not like the worst.
Well, and you've been through a downturn. I never have, so I don't know what this looks like.
Well, I'm so excited to get to go through another one with you. This one with you. Yeah, I mean, that first downturn was crazy, but I built my business from it. So, I'll tell you the scary part. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I had a realization, so I'll share it. The scary part about this from a recovery basis is that all indications are pointing to them, and this is good news, okay? It's good news for people, and I want it too. All indications are they're going to do some sort of mortgage forbearance.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you have a mortgage, they're going to postpone any payments for X amount of months. Could be 1 month, could be 3, could be a year. Like they're talking about a lot of different things right now. And I welcome that. My mortgages are my biggest expense. I have rental properties with tenants in it that can't make the payment now because of this, and I still have to make a mortgage payment. So if they need to do something about mortgages, because that's most people's number one expense.
Yeah.
And if you're not making money or you can't conduct business in a normal way, that's the number one thing you're worried about. Where I could see that hurting us, the real estate industry as a whole, is nothing's going to happen. until that is gone. Mm-hmm. If the government says it's okay not to pay your mortgage and there's not any consequences for it for a year, then no one's going to sell their house for a year.
Who would?
You're going to stay where you're at. You're going to sit still.
I can't imagine they would do it for a year.
And then at the end of the year, then we might see short sales. We might see foreclosures. We might see... Foreclosures are off the table, I think. I don't see them happening. I don't think the government... It's not good PR. It's not good for the government. The government's not going to let Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac foreclose on people for a while. And for us to get back to business as usual, that protection has to go away. And my concern is that recovery for real estate is going to be longer than other forms, other industries for that reason.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Because if the government does what it needs to do, which is, hey, we're going to let this rest for a second. You don't have to make your mortgage payments, or we're going to tack it on to the end. Or who cares what?
Unless, does that prompt investors to want to buy if there's no mortgage for a while? I have no idea. I'm just throwing shit out there for you.
No, I mean, I don't fully understand the implications of it, other than I'm saying that if included in the bailout or included in their plan, recovery plan, is not making your mortgage payment for a year.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm looking at a new industry.
Yeah.
Where am I? How? What?
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about pivoting ourselves in a number of different directions, and this might just be the opportune time to incorporate a pivot.
We'll become a media company. Mm-hmm. Daniel will be our grip operator.
What does that mean?
He'll hold the microphone, like, the boom. Or he'll be our statistician, right? Jessica.
Let's imagine what everybody would do. Yeah, I like this game.
All right.
Okay. A media company. So, yeah, Daniel would have the mic. Jessica would be...
What's Jagles doing? Oh. She's like on a high chair because her feet can't touch the ground.
Yeah, she's on a high chair and she's directing. Yeah, she's got that little start and stop sign.
Does she controls the cameras? Which one is talking to who?
And then just yells.
And is she talking in her microphone
Absolutely.
too when we say stuff?
Constantly, yeah.
Maybe too much.
Yeah.
Maybe she can't do that job. Yeah. Maybe we have to put...
And I mean, you and I would be on the mics, of course, leading as per usual, but also I think everybody would take over a part of the county and we'd all be in charge of like Jessica and
man
Jaggles.
On the street. Jessica would be...
Yeah,
I'm your woman in Arlington.
I'm your woman in Arlington, absolutely.
It's great today. The bread's cooking. It's rising. Great day to get some bread.
Yeah.
If you look, see how it's hot and warm. See how the butter melts on it. Oh my gosh, now I'm hungry.
Let's just imagine if we were to jump into a different industry right now in real life. Like, what would you try and jump into?
I'm telling you.
Okay, this media company. I do think it's most natural for us. And we've talked about education, training, speaking. Are people going to pay for that right now? Maybe not. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I had a conversation with somebody the other night about this, that whoever stands out right now as someone who's a leader, who people look to keep calm and positive, they're the people that are going to come out on the other side and have somewhere to go with this.
You're calm and positive.
I am. I know. I'm doing my best anyways. Nothing's guaranteed, people. Maybe I'll go into dentistry. That sounds awful.
Dentistry? Why of all things would you say dentistry?
Because I have to cancel my appointment with my dentist, and I'm drinking whiskey right now, so anything comes out.
Yeah, I just read an article that said if you work in the dentistry field, you're 3 to 4 times more likely to get COVID-19.
I know.
And that's like, maybe I'll just...
I think people are going to start putting on their dating profiles, by the way, like, I have COVID-19, just FYI.
Oh, jeez. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's going to be an app for that where you, claim... they put it on Zillow. This is a COVID-19 house.
Yeah. The allergies are also really bad right now.
I want to talk about that real quick.
Okay.
So Jennifer, and we can talk about this if we have her on the show, but...
They're going to do that?
She was talking to she's a real estate investor, and she was talking to some investors that she has in Dallas. And she's like, hey, what's your tenant move-out screening protocol going to be?
I haven't thought about that.
And they're like, say what? And she's like, what's your tenant move-out screening protocol going to be?
I love Jennifer Beadles so
And
much.
she's like, they're like, we don't think we're going to have to do that. She's like, oh, no, you're definitely going to have to do it. Like, it's happening. Like, right now, COVID-19 is contagious for 14 days, like, on a surface. So you can't just turn an apartment and put someone new in there, right? You have to test them to see if they have the disease. And then if they do, you have to do a mitigation process.
So this is saying that people, if they have COVID-19 and they can't pay their rent, or just if they have it, Jennifer's saying they're going to have to move out.
No.
Thank you.
No. I'm saying if they have to move out for whatever reason, but they had COVID-19.
But they had it. Okay.
You can't just
Thank you. This is what I'm here for, people, is like, if you felt like you were going to ask a stupid question, I'll ask it for you.
No.
But I have to have clarity on this, and I just
No,
want
I'm
to make
saying
sure
and
for
if
any
they
reason.
move out, who knows what?
Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't just because
You want me to go through all the things that could happen, Margaret? If they get COVID-19 and they die, or if they go to the hospital, or they move to Kansas, you can't.
You know what?
It's not business as usual.
Have you figured out how Jennifer Beadle's brain works yet? Because I'm pretty sure she's got a spreadsheet in there that lasts for ages, and she can, at a flick of a switch, she just turns that puppy on, and all of a sudden she's got a plan.
I'm applying to be her butler.
You know what? I think it's not a bad idea at this point. I will apply for a job with Jennifer Beadle any day.
I have good taste
Jennifer,
in food.
we're gonna put
and
this
wine
out there.
And whiskey. I have
Jennifer does it right, and
right? Personal chef, personal whatever.
Sommelier. Is that how you say it? Sommelier.
I'm too ornery for the service industry, though.
Yeah.
I'm like the soup Nazi.
I am not great with remembering orders, and nor would I be able to deal with the bullshit that waitresses and waiters give, like, they have to take. I couldn't do it.
We're being vulnerable and open, right? So Jennifer's like, hey, have you thought about doing something else?
What did she say?
She's like, have you thought about, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to pivot?
I'm sorry, Jennifer. Like, oh my God, what did you say?
Well, she pivoted out of real estate sales. She sees the problems.
Jennifer, we're not at your level. At least I'm not at your level. I think
you don't have to be.
You're closer to her level.
No, I'm not. I'm closer to your level than anything. But my point is she saw the problems with residential sales and she moved out of it, right?
I know.
And so she's just, as a friend, she's saying, how are you going to pivot?
I appreciate that.
And I'm like, I'm too broken to work for somebody else. Like,
no, there's no way in hell.
I can't.
And honestly, I've told you before too. Like, I can't work for anybody else. Like, it's
all right. So
yeah.
Okay, we're locked in.
We're locked in.
And now, if you want to be our friend, you better find a way to make it work for us.
It's kind of really true, though.
No, but I did tell her, listen, this is gonna force me to be creative, and I am good at being creative. Like, I don't mind being forced to be creative.
That's also, honestly, partially, and I think you know that's partially why I'm as optimistic and positive as I am, is because I know when this shit hits the fan, you get really, really fucking creative. And as do I. Now that I've learned, like, what you do and how you operate, that's partially why I'm feeling good. And I hope that's I think it's translating to the team.
Well, something happened to me today.
I would rather be here with you in business than with and I've said this before, when in good times, than with anybody else because of this.
I appreciate that, because I woke up this morning and when I got that email, I could have easily stayed in bed.
Sure.
For a week.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
There's plenty of people who
and
would.
I had this calm kind of come over me that was like, yeah, you're not 2 transactions. You're not $40,000 in commission. Like, this is not your value.
No.
This is not your worth. Mm-mm. And so do it today. Do it tomorrow. Or don't do it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change who you are. Mm-mm. Doesn't change the people that love you. And
social distancing high five. Yeah, it's absolutely freaking true. It really is the truth. It totally is. You're not. You're much more than that.
And so maybe we should all use this time in lockdown to learn how to love ourselves.
You know what? I'm so glad you went back there.
And be you.
Be you.
Just look in the mirror.
You.
Naked.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody was saying, just do everything naked. everything. And I was like, I don't think I'm quite in that environment where I would do everything naked. Poor Andy. No. Although I did wear my yoga shorts this morning. She didn't say anything.
I like how every listener, just in case you're raising an eyebrow, don't act like you don't have that piece of inappropriate clothing that you probably shouldn't wear in front of people, but it's so comfortable you do it anyway.
You do it anyways.
You're like, you know what? We're close enough as friends.
This is happening.
And your friends are like, hold on, what? Hold on.
I told Andy the night before last night, I was like, well, this is our first sleepover. I hope you still like me after this. Not like anything that crazy happened.
No, but it's funny that your comfy clothes, like, they're comfy and they're yours. And you look forward to it all day long.
All day long.
And so you can't just, like, not wear them because...
And I don't wear them around Dan, my male roommate. So when she's there and he's gone for work, I'm like, hell yeah, this is happening. So she didn't say anything. I know she's probably thinking something. Not like it's that crazy, people that are listening. Okay.
What do you think she's thinking?
I don't know.
Where do you get those shorts anyway? Where do you get them?
You know, I've been looking for another pair. It's been a while. I got those like 7 years ago when you first told me, like you said, you should be a yoga princess. Like you should go to that yoga studio next door. And I was like, hell no, I'll never be a yoga princess. And then I became one.
Yeah. Okay. She's halfway through her whiskey, people. Now she's not finishing her sentences or her thoughts.
Are you, so in the time that you've been in your home, you told me to watch a movie. Is there any other shows or movies you'd recommend
Did
I watch?
you watch that movie?
I've literally not had time to barely even breathe.
So why are you asking me?
I have it on my list, Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it probably tonight, maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I'm going to commit to tomorrow. But since I've like been behind on like all the good things that you've seen, what else would you recommend? I watched Love is Blind, by the way.
Oh, like an episode or two?
Andy and I finished it last night. She was pissed at me.
The whole thing?
Well, no, because I made her watch just the last one and the one before, and she was pissed. She's like, Margaret, now I'm going to have to watch the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, good luck. We have the time, so here you go. But, yeah, that was funny.
You only watched the last one?
Well, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, you did?
But I made her watch the last one and the one before.
Okay, thank you. I haven't watched the whole thing. I only got through the first two, I think.
Okay. The end's the best.
That is.
Yeah. It's fucking funny. I'm swearing a lot in this episode. I don't care.
She's twirling her hair, too.
You know, this is very soothing.
Yeah. And it's going to be funny how... Well, I've already said it's, like, magnifies everything.
Everything.
The situation.
Literally everything.
And so when you live with someone and then they have their own coping mechanisms that maybe you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're on fleek.
Mm-hmm. They're on super fleek. I mean, you know, I'm thinking about my roommate and my tenant who are both employed by the state. And so they're continuing to work as a resident at the hospital and social worker. And I'm waiting to see what that looks like 30 days down the road. I have a lot of empathy for them. They're putting in a lot of hours. They're putting in a lot of heart. So, but you're right. Like my morning routine is probably amplified right now because it's on show. Like I need to get up earlier. I need to make sure I shower, get dressed. Have breakfast.
And let's talk about this. Proper work from home protocol. I think you should probably do the things you normally do. Brush your teeth, comb your hair. Get dressed.
I'm trying to, yeah. I'm still doing that. Plus, I'm on fleek.
Get dressed.
I don't know
Don't
if that's
eat
right.
cereal in front of all your coworkers.
No, I shouldn't really. Yeah. Plus, if I'm going to make any phone calls, like any Zoom calls with any potential dates, I have to be prepared. I have to have my hair done. I have to have some makeup on a little bit at least.
Why not like jazz yourself up?
I mean,
at home?
if I were Melissa Weidling, I'd have my hair like freaking Marilyn Monroe with some lipstick on. That girl's always ready.
You're just name dropping randomly.
Melissa Weidling, who won the voice contest from Bellingham, is a voice that I've told her will win her millions of dollars. Every day that she gets on Snapchat when she's in this COVID-19 time, the girl's got lipstick on and her hair looks perfect. I'm like, who are you preparing for? Like, Lana must be so happy with you right now.
You realize we're hosting a podcast with like other people listening. Yes?
Yes, I will make
notes. Because you've thrown context right out the window.
I will make some notes in the show notes so they get me, so they understand.
Oh my gosh. I have to take over the show. I don't know if you're allowed to talk anymore.
Ask me any questions you want.
Oh, goodness.
What were we talking about? Morning routine.
You seem to have a lot of renewed energy about this dating situation.
I really feel great about it. I do.
Like dating in quarantine is your thing.
Yeah,
Who
it's
knew?
kind of my jam.
Why is that?
I think it's because I don't have to meet him right away. So I'm less nervous.
Like this build up.
I know there's some holdback because they have no choice. Physically, they can't come and see me. It's perfect. So then,
I mean, they can.
I mean, they could if they really wanted to, but I'm not going to allow them in my house. So there's like, I have this great boundary that's set that I don't have to set myself.
I have this boundary. I don't want to meet you for 30 days, so if you can make it, then it's worth it, okay? And I promise you, it's worth it. I love it. You're so hilarious. I hope the world changes to your favor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because it's.
I'm curious about, so I know a lot of my friends in the admin world, at least that we're talking to the most in the last couple of days, are having a hard time being at home with their kids and doing any work while helping them work on school stuff. Do you guys have a schedule, or what are you doing?
Well,
because there's some serious, like, people are anxious about this.
So we have a schedule kind of with our kids.
Brayden?
So it's the same thing. Get up, eat breakfast, brush your teeth, get dressed. And then they do online learning with the Khan Academy on YouTube. They have millions of videos, and they have a good reputation. And he likes the training. He likes it. So they're doing that for an hour or more a day. And then they have to read. Like, I'm going to pay them to read books of my choosing. And then I have to do a report on each book.
I like that.
I may not pay them. They may just have to do it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Gary Keller. That comes from Gary Keller. Gary Keller paid
I liked that concept, too.
his son John to read books and give reports. We're doing a lot of limited electronic time. Well, we're trying to. And we're doing outdoor stuff. Jill ordered cornhole boards so we could play cornhole outside.
That's a good idea.
So, yeah, we're trying to buy stuff that's like activity-based for us.
Did you hear that Netflix started a party watch type thing?
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet, but brings me back to my old days when I was dating this guy in college who was in Illinois, and we'd watch movies together over the phone.
Back in is this before cell phones?
Yeah.
With long distance charges and stuff? Who paid that
Probably.
bill?
I don't know.
Your parents. I don't know.
Actually, I think at the time I had my first cell phone. Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel bad for my parents, so I feel bad for people that are, I have a lot of empathy for people that are immunocompromised, I should say. Like, my parents are planning on being in their house for not really just, like, the next 30 days, but probably for, like, they're planning on 3 months, which I don't love. I understand. So my dad has a trace of pneumonia. He's not been tested for COVID, but he doesn't have any of the symptoms of COVID. They were sick like 4 weeks ago, and then his cough just didn't go away, and so he finally got a scan, and he's got a trace pneumonia. And then, of course, my mom has her lymphoma, so they're planning on, being isolated for about 3 months, and I don't like it. So I've been to their house twice already. I just stand outside, and I gave them some soup, and my mom gave me games, and she gave me buttons that say "Stay Strong, Washington," which is coming out more, and then "Stay Calm and Wash Your Hands" or something. But I don't like the idea of them being by themselves for that long. That's not, they can't. So I asked her to join the Zoom call yesterday that I did with some admin just for her to get some interaction. And my dad got on there and told this stupid joke. I wish I could remember it right now. It was a Taylor Swift joke.
Your dad told the joke?
Yeah, it was actually pretty perfect.
I know your dad's sense of humor, and I'm sorry, I
know.
It's funny because Andrew says it, not because it's funny.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't like the idea of them being alone for that long. So, but all my brothers are actually exceptionally involved in terms of, like, they started texting. So they started a text group with so I have 3 brothers and myself, and they started texting us asking about mom and dad, and I was like, just call them if you guys are worried. Like, I've been in touch with them. They were sick just 4 weeks ago. It's the same level of threat for my mom as it would have been 4 weeks ago when she had the flu. It's the same, like, it's not any different. So I think it's just the news, per usual. They're just inundated with a lot of information. So what are you doing to like curb that? Because I know for you, I get that feeling. I'm just beginning to feel that a little bit now myself. Like I'm feeling inundated with so many different sources. Have you done anything to like curb that for yourself, or are you just still feeling it?
Like news sources?
Not
What
just news sources, but just inundated, overwhelmed.
Oh. Yeah. So I've been dealing with that for a couple weeks, I feel like, and it really came to a head this week. Mm-hmm. And I do get into a state of overwhelm, and I can't handle easy stuff, you know. I mean, and I handle it by only paying attention to the important stuff and just I can't pay attention to anything else. Mm-hmm. I have to only pay attention to the stuff that matters. Yeah. And I don't apologize for it. Mm-hmm. I just say, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I know myself, I know my resources. I don't have the resources to lend you right now. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, but I don't feel bad about it. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. And if people can't understand it, then I can't help it. Yeah. Help it. They should be aware of what I'm facing, you know, to some degree as a business owner with payroll and overhead and and I don't know. I think I'm pretty good at allowing myself to have a bad couple hours or a bad half day or a bad day, but then not letting myself feel that way beyond that. And I never know. I have a real issue. I have a real issue of exterior influences dictating how I feel that I'm kind of over. I'm kind of over having my happiness or my worth tied to exterior things kind of outside of my control. Yeah. And
interesting.
I'm kind of over that.
This is kind of like a major run through for that for a lot of people on whether or not you're going to allow something out of our control completely to affect you. Yeah.
And listen, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of agents that leave the industry and yeah. I think that's what I kind of weigh again. I've said on this podcast before, I don't want to be a travel agent in 1999, which is when Expedia kind of killed the travel travel industry. Listen, we're going to be disrupted, and do I want to be the last Mohican when it happens? Yeah. No, not really. And I don't want to. I wasn't put on this earth to sell houses. You know?
No, that's not your purpose.
And so I look at my team and I look around and I enjoy everyone I see. Yeah. I've amassed a good quality of people to work with us, and I would bet on them over most anything else. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to find a way to stay in relationship and in business with these people.
No, that's the truth of it. Yeah, there's very few other people, like I said earlier. There's been times when we've had all sorts of different changes in the business, and I love when people ask me at my class or just in life when they meet up with me, 7 years, wow, that's a long time. Why are you still there? I love that you asked that question. Let me tell you why. And I always say, like, it doesn't mean, and there was a girl in the class in Minneapolis who loved this. She was like, I love your honesty. Thank you so much for saying, like, it hasn't all been pretty. And I'm like, no, but any relationship with another human's not. It's not always pretty, and that's the point, is that when you choose and you make a decision, and I said there was a point in my road, in my journey, where I said, I'm deciding to stay here. I'm deciding that there's an opportunity. I'm deciding that there's a place for me here, and I'm deciding to work with Jesse. And that's what's happening. And whether people outside me understand that or not, I don't care anymore. And so we had a great conversation that evolved from that. And so that's why I love those. I told them, I said, you know, in my class, things change every class. It always depends on the audience. And fortunately for me in Minneapolis this time, there were some people who were really ready to talk. And so I said, like, let's dive into the gray area. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that's what Jesse and I have done really well, is there's no black and white in business or in life or whatever, and we dive into the gray. And so if you're not willing to go there, then your business is not going to succeed, because people are not black and white. It's very gray. Like, we've not known. I don't know what the right decision is all the time. Half the time, I'm like, let's just try something. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. Like, and I think that's what I really appreciate. So I don't know. It's just, when you know, you know. And that's what I've always told you. There's very few people that think like you do about business. And we've heard people say it about this podcast. Like, they recognize in how you think now that they've heard you for a while, that you think differently. And I'm glad that people can now see what I see. Like, you think differently. You are able to pivot. You are able to think creatively. And yes, it might be when your back's up in the corner, but I'd rather have it be then than never at all. And there are plenty of agents that I've met over the years that I will never do business with. So I'm going to step off of my pedestal now, sip the rest of my whiskey, because this podcast could go on for another hour.
Yeah, and I think we should draw it to a close before we regret everything that we say.
True that. I just had cottage cheese for lunch. I haven't had much, so it's probably why it's going straight to my brain.
Now you're grossing me straight the F out.
Cottage cheese and pears.
Don't
so
talk
delicious.
about cottage cheese when I'm drinking whiskey. What are you doing to me? Cheers, Margaret, to
Cheers.
Perhaps our last episode in the near future in the studio. We will continue to bring episodes your way, whether you like it or not, okay? From the edge of the apocalypse, okay? But this could be the last one, probably, in the studio.
You think?
I'm going to predict a 30-day. I bet
March 19th.
I bet we can't do this for 30 days.
April 19th. Is that a weekday? Let me just check real quick. 30 days, 30 regular days. That's a Sunday. So it'd be the 20th at the earliest. Wow.
I bet I file my taxes before we're in here again.
Yeah, I mean, we better.
Unless something awesome and
Yeah.
dramatic happens.
Yeah, all right.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, listeners.
Cheers to innovation.
I was thinking we need to do a drinking episode. Not where we drink, because that's just an episode. But a drinking episode where the audience has to drink with us. Like,
Oh.
we're like, okay, and drink.
I love
And,
that.
Right?
Yeah,
And so that they're at like the same level as us as
Okay.
we go.
I think that's a great idea.
Like next week, maybe we'll do a drinking
Done.
episode.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been pretty fun on Zoom to see people, like, when we do our little happy hours, people are like, what are you having? What are you drinking?
Can we do it on? Do you think we can do it on Zoom? Like record it?
Absolutely.
With people and
The
have people
audio is better
chime
on
in?
Zoom. Yeah.
So maybe we'll do a podcast on Zoom.
Where,
Drinking.
like, listeners can join in on Zoom
Yeah.
and watch us.
Yeah, and we drink together.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. I don't know why I didn't think of that before.
Yeah, let's
they would
do it.
love that,
All
to
right.
actually see our faces and shit.
Okay.
Oh my God, okay. Yeah, I like that idea.
I mean, I check my calendar. I think it's pretty open. But check it. Check it.
Okay.
And I will say, lastly, I do want to, since it's on my mind, it's weird, the suspension of business, how sudden it is.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's
I went
odd.
to a listing consultation
Local TO one.
Friday.
Yeah,
Was that Friday?
yeah,
I went on a Friday,
because I was gone.
and things were kind of weird, for sure. But we did the consultation, and then I was like, things got so weird so fast after that. That's like, oh, he's probably not going to let me in his house again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. Yeah, I get it.
It's-
Totally.
things have changed that
It's logical to think that way.
he's not going to want me. It's a risk
Yeah.
to have strangers in your house.
Yeah.
And so we had to change everything. Like my 2 last listing appointments, I did without a listing presentation because
Jekyll's was
ours
sick.
are custom made and we were working from home. So I did 2 without a listing presentation. And now I'm having to do the valuation online. Like I'm having to go over it with him online. And
What do you think?
I don't know. We'll see. Like this is a beautiful home for, 1.35 million. I want the listing like any other listing, and I have to deliver this impact over
Online.
online, which is a different impact. So
Well, it's kind of like when we did our interview on Tuesday and we solidified a new team member. And I know you were worried about doing it, but it was great. I thought, I mean, they can still see your facial expressions, see me, see Jessica. And obviously she was excited to join. So I think we still can portray the same energy and everything. I think it's very different.
something. Oh, that's my chair. I was like, what's off my shoulder right there?
That's my hair.
Oh.
Speaking of which, have you seen the memes that have said, like, in the next 6 to 8 weeks, we're going to see everybody's real hair color? Yeah, it's happening.
Pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Yours is fine. I've seen some that are shocking.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I have natural hair.
It's a privilege. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's gray, but I don't care.
Yeah. For people that aren't, like, yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I know some guys that dye their hair.
It's really bad.
That shouldn't. And it's they're about to have a.
Like, their Hinge photos are going to be way different from real life.
Hinge photos? That's what you're going to? I think you're going to see a lot of shaved heads on Hinge pretty soon. and the girls, I think you're going to see a lot of hats in the girls' photos.
Oh, God.
This is my derby hat. I'm wearing it during quarantine. And I can't wait to read some Instagram posts.
Oh, God.
When we can laugh about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I can laugh about it right now.
I don't think right now is the right time. No, maybe next week.
But I don't know. I think next week might be too soon too, but I definitely want to read some.
There's some good ones about being quarantined and dating for sure.
Or being quarantined and having kids for sure.
Oh my God, yes. That might be too quiet for the audience to hear.
Can I say I don't know if I should say this. I'm kind of glad that my kids are going through this.
I think you can say that.
They need a little.
Number one, you can say whatever you want to me and to our listeners. I don't care. But number two,
they need some adversity in their life.
I agree. And so I wonder so I've been thinking about what would Gary Vaynerchuk say about this, and I haven't listened to any of his stuff recently to see if he's addressing this. But that's the part of it that I'm really like, I think that's why you're seeing me excited, is because I like welcome it. Because it's going to weed out the people that can't stand
Margaret's
through
like,
it.
Shake it up.
Bring it.
Shake it
Bring
up,
it.
bitches.
Bring it to me. And yeah, I think the kids, absolutely, this is going to make them better. Like, this is like, who can say I lived through this time period of, I don't know. I'm just saying.
For real. Yeah.
I agree with you. I do. I think it's an interesting time, and I think it's one to pay attention to.
They say the greatest generation was my grandparents, right? Like, and my grandfather was born, I want to say in 1920.
Okay, my grandmother was born 1915.
So but
hard ass people.
They were born into the Great Depression, basically. Like they had their toes in the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. They may not remember it 100%, and then those people served in World War II. Mm-hmm. And they are great people. Like, as far as, listen, we have racial issues. There's all sorts of issues. But as far as, like, the character of a person, outside of some social constructs, the character of people were better. Mm-hmm.
Just sturdier, I would say, too. Like, they're
I almost want to say kinder and more
grace, more empathy.
Right. And so I do think, and I remember, do you remember after 9/11 very well?
I have an image in my head of where I was sitting, actually, when I found out.
Well, I remember, and do you remember how patriotic we were for, like, 18 months after? Mm-hmm. That's a joke for everybody. But for a while there, we sold out of flags, and there was a sense of unity.
People come together.
There's a sense of unity we didn't have before.
And that's what's happening. That is what's happening.
And I'm all for, I'm saying this as a ranch kid from Montana that owns guns, and I'm happy to own guns, and I don't want to take guns away from anyone. And I'm happy for us to take some of our defense spending and put it towards other things. Mm-hmm. I saw a great meme about President Trump starting a space force and not a pandemic force, right? Like, he created a space force so that we can fight outside of our atmosphere, but we can't fight the disease inside of our atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited for reality to shake things up a little bit and get rid of some of the nonsense. Yeah. Because we've had it too good for too long, and now we're just making shit up to do, and that ails us, and that's weird and gross and ew. And the reality is that this is going to really shake some of that stuff off.
Sure, I agree.
Where it's like, you know what? Not everything matters equally.
Mm-hmm. No. Prioritization.
And maybe neighbors will get to know each other. Maybe our neighbors will actually talk to us now.
That's funny you say that because Andy did ask me. She's like, so which of your neighbors do you talk to, like, that you could go to? And I'm like, well, I could go to either one on either side and across the street. But besides that, I don't know the rest of the people on my block. It's not a normal thing now. We do have block parties, but I've never been able to go to one. So I don't know the people down the road.
Yeah. And that's the good thing I have been seeing outside of Washington State and inside of Washington State, but where people are focused on community, I think that's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to talk about your community and how to help people.
Yeah.
I think it absolutely is the right thing to do. I think it's going to be a little bit hard to implement if you're locked in your house. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be no less important. It's just going to be harder to implement.
Yeah, I went to the grocery store yesterday just because I've been getting different messages from a couple of friends that we've all been sharing, and I was really pleased with the shopping experience and with getting checked out by this checker who was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "I'm okay. I'm just getting like the necessities," which for me right now is anything. M&Ms, brownies, eggs, milk, like the basics. And but she was very she's like super happy to be there, happy to help. And I was like, "How are you doing?" And she said, "This is not even the busy time." It was like 3:00 in the afternoon. And she said, when it gets busy, it gets really busy. But they had just created some time slots for the elderly and the immunocompromised from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Tuesday, Thursday. So they're just like positive attitudes. They're still hammering away. She's like, we're here to help people. There's people asking, where's the oatmeal? I'm like, first of all, why can't you find the oatmeal on your own?
Yeah.
Like, there's a shelf here. Yes, most of it's gone, but it's still there. Like, you don't need help finding the oatmeal.
And if it's gone, you know where it was. Like, what are you talking about?
So never has there been a better time for my dad to retire. My dad was like, you know what? This is good timing. He had a choice of when he could retire.
For context, Margaret's father worked in a grocery store his entire life.
Yeah, 38 years. And so he's been partially retired for 3 years now, which means he only had to work 40 hours a month in order to continue to get benefits. And so he could really pick when he was done, and he decided this was the time. And I said, props to you. There's never been a better time, because the way they're running the people that are working right now, I mean, they don't have a choice but to double down. So, and especially when you have people in the store that are panicking, looking for oatmeal and rum. I loved standing by the liquor area, and I was like, I need some more Sailor Jerry's just in case. So I'm standing off the side, and one of the little checker guys comes over, and he can't be more than like 24 years old. And there's like 7 of us, and he's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And I waited till the end, and he was like, you've been so patient. And I said, well, there's no rush. Like, really, I know I'm going to get my Sailor Jerry's, so I'm okay.
Yeah, I think tomorrow I'm buying a case of wine.
It's not a bad idea.
Because if we are going on lockdown, then
a bottle a day,
people will know where to come. All right. Thanks for hanging in, everybody. Thanks for listening to us ramble. I will say this is hard. Like, it's hard. We're all over the place.
Sure.
And we ask for your grace and understanding. And tell us how this is affecting you guys.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Talk about it.
We feel a little isolated. We feel like we're on an island. And I remember the start of the podcast, and I still love feedback. I'm still a feedback junkie. I like hearing from you guys and knowing that people are listening and they like what we have to say.
Yeah.
I know it's been a little off the rails lately, but life is off the rails a little bit right now. Mm-hmm. So tell us what you think of a drinking episode where we drink together on Zoom or something, and then maybe we'll see you on that episode next week.
That'd be so fun.
Thank you, everybody.